Chapter 3 in your book, starting on page 44, Argumentation. In a popular episode of the 1990s sitcom Seinfeld titled Comeback, George Costanza attends an office meeting where boiled shrimp are served as a midday snack. As George scarfs down shrimp, an office mate jokes, "Hey George, the ocean called. They're running out of shrimp." Everyone laughs, to George's great embarrassment. Long after the meeting has ended, George invents a comeback. "Oh yeah, Riley? Well, the jerk store called, and they're running out of you." Of course, George failed to deliver the comeback in a timely fashion. For the remainder of the episode, George schemes to recreate the circumstance that elicited Riley's comment. When George finally does get Riley at another meeting, he presents a plate of shrimp and eats them voraciously. Riley gladly voices his clever one-liner, again to boisterous laughter. George triumphantly delivers his comeback to complete silence. George thinks he has a Kairos problem, a great line, bad timing. He doesn't. As the audience knows, George has an argument problem, bad line, no matter the timing. The previous chapter focused on the first part of George's problem, the when of discourse. The remainder of this book, and this chapter in particular, focuses on the second part of George's problem, the what of discourse. Though Kairos is arguably most important, the better part of classical and contemporary rhetorical theory focuses on content and form, not timing. Nevertheless, as we further explore rhetorical theory, analysis, we'll encourage you to remember something George forgot. You need good timing and a good comeback, favorable Kairos, and an effective argument. You need to analyze the argument in its rhetorical situation. So, the chunk of this text that I would like you to read for this week is pages 44 to 49. We just read page 44. And it will proceed to talk about what are commonly called in English Aristotle's three appeals, ethos, logos, and pathos. These are the principles of good argument. These are, if you like, the foundation. Logos is reasoning. You can't have a good argument if you don't have good reasoning. You have to support claims with strong reasons and appropriate and good pieces of evidence. That's the logos part, right? The logic. Pathos, the root of the Greek word, path as in sympathy, empathy. Those are roots of this word. Pathos is emotion. A good argument, in order to persuade anybody that it is important, usually has to draw the audience's interest in some way. So it's typically going to involve feeling, such as sympathy or attraction, desire, or make people really angry. That works too. But some kind of pathos appeal needs to be there. And of course the third is ethos. The argument doesn't work at all if the source of the argument is completely untrustworthy. Okay, so those three things, ethos, logos, and pathos, they go together. And they shape the ways in which audience members can be persuaded to take interest in what you're saying, feel strongly about what you're saying, want to do something about what you were saying. So this chapter introduces a car ad, actually, for the Golf VR6, and you can see the ways in which the car is talked about in the ad, the ways in which the viewing audience is attracted to the car and may wish to buy the car. And there's a lot of discussion about how ethos, pathos, and logos are used in the following pages, 46, 47, in the ad to make people interested in purchasing the car. And beginning on page 47, you begin to learn that persuasion only works if all three of those elements are present. Okay, so you'll see this is actually quite a good analysis of these pisteis, as they are called in Greek, Pisteis. So that's the type of analysis I'm going to ask you to do this week, and hopefully we can have a bit of fun with it. I have this, it's kind of long, but it's not a bad car commercial. It's for the, here we go, the title of the car commercial, If Real People Commercials Were Real Life. It's for the Chevy Equinox. And so...
Hey, I can take it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Porch? What happened? Did you finally get a real job? Good for you. Now go get my car. Don't touch my...
So you can see the situation is we seem to be in front of the entrance to a hotel, and the hotel guests are coming out and asking for their vehicles, and the valets are there to take the keys. And
with your fingers.
they
I
are.
swear to God, Porch, if you come back with a Chevy, I'm gonna... Oh, God damn it. I hate you.
Car's ready. There you go.
Wrong car.
What?
So you can see what the valets are doing. It seems to be the joke is on the hotel patrons, that they come out to get their cars, and the valets keep bringing them Chevy Equinoxes. And
Just a second, guys. This isn't our car. Isn't that your car?
No, that's not my car.
I'm so sorry about that.
And you can see that everybody in the ad has this fairly generic, pleasant American accent. They're very common, except for this fellow over here on the left in the gray t-shirt, this young white guy with the buzz cut over here. And he has a bit of a surly attitude. And he's also marked by having this very curious, rough accent, which to my ear sounds a bit like a Boston Southie. Now, why they chose to give him this accent, I suppose, will be up to you to draw inferences. Why this guy with this accent is here. He's the only one who has that accent. Everybody else sounds fairly bland in their accents.
Don't be sorry. Be getting my car.
You guys want to check it out? Realize it? Sure, why not?
I don't feel like doing this today. I just ate. I'm asking you nicely. Can you just go get my car?
Want to check it out?
No, Porch. I don't want to look at your stupid Chevy. Go get my damn car. I'm not doing it.
See, and he becomes increasingly more angry and resistant, and the other hotel guests are kind of curious. They're interested. They want to see about the car. So you can watch it through and see what happens. Here we go. Consider the purpose of the ad, which is to presumably sell the Chevy Equinox, but you can also look at it as an ad because the surly guy keeps saying, I don't want a damn Chevy, right? Chevy, Chevy, Chevy. He says it like every 10 seconds through the whole ad. So you hear the word Chevy in his accent over and over and over again. So you can't miss it. It almost rings in your ears by the end. So you can think about it as just being an ad for the Chevy Equinox, but I think it's also fair game to think about it as an ad for the company Chevy. And we are invited to think about, if you like, the trustworthiness of the Chevy, right? How does the ad present Chevy's character as trustworthy, or as, if you like, not trustworthy? Okay, so what about this ad addresses the audience's presuppositions? So for that, what you may want to think is, what do people already think about the Chevy company? Treat the ad as an indirect argument, one that asks the audience to make inferences, right? So it's a car ad. It's not a direct argument that says, you need to go out and purchase a Chevy vehicle, and these are the reasons why. Because nobody would watch an ad like that. We like things that are kind of personable, kind of artsy, cute, funny, inspiring, maybe. What was it? Forever. Chevy had this truck ad with horses running down a valley, down a hillside into a valley, and just this thundering noise, and the cowboy kind of dude in his great big Chevy Silverado. So it was tied to masculinity, but truck ads aren't like that anymore, are they? They are appealing to different qualities that entice people to want to have trucks. Anyway, so treat the ad as an indirect argument. What kinds of inferences about the company does it want you to infer? What kinds of conclusions is the ad inviting you to draw about the company? What inferences do the makers of the ad want the audience to draw? So you can consider the setting for the ad. It's departing guests outside the entrance to an ice hotel. They wait for valets to bring their own cars to them. However, the valets instead bring each guest a Chevy Equinox to test drive. While most of the guests seem game for the experience, one curmudgeonly fellow insists that he will not get in the car. Indeed, throughout the commercial, this one guest repeatedly heckles the Chevy vehicle and the Chevy company. The camera cuts back and forth between guests with pleasant, unremarkable American accents who happily marvel at the Chevy's features, while this one guest with his rough Southie Boston accent sounds surly and antisocial. The commercial comes to a close when the Boston man receives his 1999 Suzuki Grand Vitara, which glows fluorescent green when he starts the engine and rises through the air into the night sky. It's a very trippy little ad. I hope you enjoy it. So considering this setting and these events as they proceed through, what are we invited to be thinking about Chevy? Consider how the setting for the car ad works with the ad's title, which is, again, if real people commercials were real life. What does that mean, real people? Is it suggesting that, as opposed to a 1999 Suzuki Grand Vitara, a 2018 or 2019 Chevy Equinox, that's for real people? Is this guy with this Southie Boston accent somehow not real people? I don't know. In 2 or 3 paragraphs, explain how the argument works, right? As an indirect argument. In your explanation, apply the following terms: ethos, pathos, and logos. Explain the ways in which the ad tries to inspire trust, faith, or belief in Chevy as an automaker. How does it create feeling for the company, and which feeling is that? How does it present Chevy's character as trustworthy? How does it offer reasoning to persuade the audience to like the company and the car? How do these pisteis, right? Ethos, pathos, and logos are pisteis. How do they support each other and work together? So if you read the assigned text, pages 44 to 49, explains on page 49 that when the authors of your textbook were analyzing the VW Golf ad, they isolated these appeals. They first addressed ethos in the VW logo, pathos in the image, and logos in the text. I'm saying that you should isolate an element, right? Isolate what is the ethos, what is the pathos, what is the logos, and follow those analyses to their natural conclusion, and then put it together. How do these 3 elements, ethos, pathos, and logos, how do they work together in this Chevy ad? And I hope you enjoy doing that.